Hi,
Hi.
Jennifer. It's
Hello.
great to see you today.
You too.
Um, we're here with Jennifer Walton of Instrumental Casting. Um, and you've just been such an amazing resource for Andrew and I.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
over the years, what you do is just, I think it's really helpful for people across the board, both musicians and composers. Um, so I don't know, maybe do you want to do like a company kind of intro and explain, in
Oh,
your own words?
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. Since 2008, I created I don't know if I have to push OK for the recording. There we go. Since 2008, I created instrumental casting as a way to capture some of the work that I saw was evaporating away from real musicians and for on camera work for on commercials and TV shows and movies and music videos and even print work.
Please,
Um,
I'm so sorry to do this.
that's
I'm
okay.
really worried that the intro may not be there because I don't know how the Zoom works.
Okay, you want to start fresh?
So I'm just going to start over just in case because
Yep.
my
Yes,
brain just went into
that's
editing.
better for me too. Yeah,
Okay. Um, okay.
yeah. So do you want to hit
Okay.
stop and then stop the recording and then
What I'll do is just, you know what? I will. Yeah, no, I'll just edit it. It's okay.
okay, you'll edit it. Okay.
Yeah. I'll just do that so it's easy for me to find in
I
the.
do like the very first part that you said.
Yeah.
Let's also just introduce what we're doing.
Mhm.
Uh, Series. Yeah.
Okay. Hi. We're doing this series right now, and a big theme is activating creativity and breaking the rules, and we're exploring different ways to have more opportunity for people right now, and finding, new ways to grow and new ways to push, the limits and push the limits of discovery and opportunity and connection and and community and stuff like that. So we of course wanted to bring in Jennifer Walton from Instrumental Casting for this because you have just been such an incredible resource for Andrew and I over the years. I think what you do is just so beneficial for people
Yeah.
across the whole board, whether you're a musician or even a vocalist or a composer. You provide services that are just so incredibly helpful. So um,
Thank you.
yeah, so we'll leave it in for you in your own words, just to
Okay.
describe your company and what you do.
Okay. I created instrumental casting back in 2008 because I saw that some work in the industry was evaporating and going away from real musicians, where the on-camera roles of for musicians in TV shows and commercials and movies and music videos and such, they were hiring actors to fake like they were playing, and so you'd get violinists playing backwards or a trumpeter with the complete wrong embouchure, and it just it really irked me. And I thought, why aren't they hiring real people? I mean, can't they possibly find real musicians in LA? I mean, duh. And so I started getting in touch with casting directors and saying, hey, I can provide real musicians for this shoot. And the more that I did that, the more that the casting directors were asking me, where have you been? Why didn't we think of this before? And I provided a way that was simple and quick and got people working right away. And so I didn't have to adhere to anybody else's rules. I could just kind of make up my own rules. I am a talent manager there. I'm a contractor for live work and recording sessions, and I am a talent manager for the on-camera work. It's the same job, just two different names for the same job. And when I work, I get a commission from people who I have working to reimburse myself. That's standard across the board in the talent management industry. And I only get paid when people are working. So
Yeah.
all the time that I'm trying to get people working every day, I just spent 4 hours trying to get people booked on a job. I don't get paid for that until they book.
Yeah.
So a lot of my work goes unpaid and unrecognized by the vast majority of people. And I think if anybody was curious, they'd probably run away.
Yeah.
But I am willing to do the work because I enjoy the payoff. And the payoff for me is getting people working.
Yeah.
And when people are working, they're happy. And that when I'm one of the people that I'm happy when other people are happy.
Yeah.
So it's not about me. It's about me being sort of a funnel for work opportunities and being able to spread those work opportunities around. And then for composers, in the past, I was doing what's called shared sessions, and I'm now after COVID and everything's calmed down. I'm starting to do that more, and I've done two fairly recently in the last several months. Um, One with a 39-piece orchestra, one with 34-piece orchestra, one with 16-piece orchestra, and and just recording whatever composers need to record for whatever reason. It could be a movie soundtrack. We did one of those. It could be somebody with their daughter uh, playing a solo on a concerto who's just phenomenal, and they want a personal recording to help her build her career. It could be just for their library, their music library, or anything like that. So the shared sessions are really ideal because they have the composers split the cost of the musicians and the studio and the engineer and even the food. You know, everybody pitches in, and so we have this gigantic smorgasbord of food, and everybody is well cared for. Everybody is well paid. We pay on the day. So we
Yeah.
collect all the funds in advance. Everything clears. We pay everybody on the day, Zelle or Venmo. Very easy. Um, and the composers are extremely grateful because if they only need half hour, they pay for a half hour. If
Yeah.
they need an hour and a half or 3 hours, that's all they pay for. So that's been going really, really well. And I'm trying to reach out to as many composers as I can, no matter what scale. I've played on hundreds of movie soundtracks. I worked with John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith, Mark Shaman, John Debney. I could just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Um, and so I have all of that background. I have a gigantic database of talent for every possible occasion that they would want. And so
And
I really enjoy being the funnel, basically.
yeah, and that's something, the shared sessions, I'm just thinking, can even work for songwriters, that want to get
Absolutely.
strings
Yeah, absolutely.
as well as composers. And that's the
Yeah.
interesting thing with what you do. There's so much versatility for whether you're a concert performer, or you have a library, or you have
Right.
a film, or you have a project, or you have a song that you're putting together.
Right.
I just always get that from you, just this sense
Thanks.
being open across the board to so many people, and
Thank you so much.
yeah, servicing musicians and composers and songwriters across
Yeah.
the board.
And
Um,
a lot of times when I'm booking people for live music, live gigs or recording sessions or on camera work, I try my best to pair people with other people that they can network with and connect with. And so, and the on camera is mostly, I would say 95% out of my control who works because I submit everybody that I have, like a casting director says, okay, I'm looking for ages 20 to 30 for this particular project. I'll send in people who are 50 or 60, and then sometimes they say, oh, we want that person. So you
uh,
just never know. So it's in my best interest to submit everybody that I think could possibly match what they're looking for.
yeah,
And they're very grateful for that because but sometimes they don't know who they want to book until it walks in through the door,
yeah,
until he or she walks in through the door, they walk in through the door, and then they go, that's the person that I want to hire. So
yeah,
I like to be thought of as a connector and providing opportunities where people can meet and it will propel their career. So I've had lots of people tell me, um, this is not a braggy moment, but it does make me happy.
yeah,
Where people tell me, "Oh, I did a job for you, and then I met all these people, and my career just took off." And I've heard that many times, and that kind of gets back around to me sometimes, and it makes me really happy. So, whatever I can do to help facilitate in that realm, I'm more than willing to do that.
yeah. And you've gotten some really interesting, great jobs for us before.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Everybody always says the jobs are very interesting and they're fun. And a lot of times people tell me, oh, I would have done that job even without getting paid. We had so much fun.
yeah,
And that makes me happy because I'm always texting people when they're on jobs, are they treating you well?
yeah,
Treated well.
Yeah.
And, sometimes they'll say, well, it's really hot in here. We haven't had a break for a while. And I say, okay, put me on the phone with the AD on set, assistant director, or I'll have them put me in touch with somebody like immediately.
Yeah.
And usually within about half an hour, I can get it or less. I can get this problem solved and taken care of because I just want people to be treated well and fairly,
Yeah.
paid fairly.
Yeah.
Um, there's some people in the industry that say that I have jobs that do not pay fairly, and I find it hard to believe because my jobs pay usually much higher than the industry standard.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean, it's always
yeah.
been more than more than expected for us. I mean, even just
Yeah,
yeah,
like I've been booked for like some stuff like outside of you, like random people who have reached out, uh,
Uh-huh.
and they've never been
as good as
like
you.
music videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear about those, but I do try to get all my ducks in a row because it is really important to me as a professional that people get treated like professionals.
Yeah.
And so for the on-camera jobs, now they know I work directly with casting. So
Yeah.
so I would say almost all of my jobs are previous casting directors say, "Hey, we want you again. We love your people. This is who we need. This is the scene. They set up the scene. This is who we want." And I'll just send them a list of people who are available and then they make their selects.
But you
So
are really good with with being we're composers, but we've been on the instrumental side
mhm.
of your business, and I have always felt so well taken care of,
Oh,
even
good.
with the the can I mention the name of the artist whose music video is in through you? Well,
Did it already air? If it's already out, go ahead.
it's out. So in the even in the J Lo video where some of that footage
Well, yeah.
for the documentary as well, and I saw that you were like on it, like making sure that
Yeah. Yeah,
you were
we've done a lot of music videos, Jonas Brothers and Adele and just I could go on and on and on. But on my bookings page on the instrumentalcasting.com instrumental casting website, there's a bookings page and you can scroll down and see commercials and TV shows and movies and music videos, live events, recording sessions. And to be honest, I'm 6 months behind on adding things
yeah,
because it was so slow in the first couple months of this year. And so I was trying to drum up work as much as I could, and that was taking up a lot of my time.
yeah,
And now the last 3 months have been incredibly busy, which I'm very grateful for.
that's
Uh, so,
good.
but I am a little bit behind, but still, I mean, the list is just
at
goes
the
on and on and on. So, and then my musicians, you can click on, search by instrumentalist or vocalist or band.
Yeah, it's really
And
good.
yeah, and so then people can see the wide variety. And I have SAG talent, I have non-union talent. I contract everything. Union, you want a recording with a union contract? No problem. You want to record non-union? No problem.
Yeah,
So because there are a lot of people who are BEC status now, which is financial core status, FICOR,
yeah,
and like me, and I can play union jobs and non-union jobs without any kind of care in the world. So I'm never looking over my shoulder. I'm always saying yes to every opportunity. And if people want to know more about that, they can get in touch with me
yeah,
because they won't hear it from the upper ups.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's the thing that's amazing about you is that you really do just help everyone across the board. Your flexibility and your ability to just like engage creatives and talent, from from all kinds of the whole spectrum is just
right,
incredible because also like if you're a composer and you don't have a budget for a studio recording or something like that, but you want
right.
to get some string, just a couple of string players just to flesh it out from your home
Right.
studio. You,
Yeah, a lot of times they say, "Oh, I couldn't possibly afford it." And I say, "Well, what's your budget?" And sometimes they'll say 1,500 or whatever. And I'll say, "Okay, this is what I can provide for that." And
yeah,
they're always like, blown away. And it doesn't mean that I'm selling anybody out or paying somebody something that is below what they're worth. It means that everyone is happy. Everybody walks away happy with what they got. And so that's where I find the happy medium. So instead of saying, "No, I can't possibly work with you, go find someplace else to go."
yeah,
Why
yeah,
would I do that? Why would I say no? I don't close the door.
yeah,
I open the door and I say, "Come in. Let's
yeah,
have a party.
yeah,
Let's talk about this. Let's see what we can do." And sometimes they can only afford one instrument,
yeah,
but that one violin player, that one oboe player, the cellist, or one vocalist, And they say that it literally changed the game for them because the one real musician gives you goosebumps. You don't get
Yeah.
goosebumps from pushing a button.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but all of those soundtracks, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I could go on and on. Those are the soundtracks that are still being generated because it's an orchestra. It
Yeah.
has a pulse. We have a pulse and a soul,
Yeah.
and you can't get that any other way. So even if it's one musician to two or three or an orchestra of 60,
Yeah.
that's where the money is. Maybe not at this moment, but down the line, that's where the money is. It will come back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's worth, I
yeah.
mean, it's worth the investment in hiring real players. It's just
And here
whatever.
locally, yeah, instead of outsourcing, instead of, buying the plane ticket and going somewhere else. And granted, there are places all over the world now, and people record from their living rooms and everything else.
Yeah.
And and then they shoot it, someplace else and then film it. I'm sorry, record it someplace else and then shoot it over via email or whatever their links are. And but my whole mantra is, why
So,
go to all that trouble?
but
It's
can you
actually easier here.
Yeah, it is easier here. But I'm
Yeah.
just curious, like if somebody is, for example, in Minnesota watching this,
Mhm.
and they just need the recording of a, co competent, good, LA-based violinist, somebody that they
Right,
trust, like they can also reach out to you and that person can um,
right,
do a virtual track, you know.
right. And I can connect people with, hey, try this person. They'd be really good
Yeah,
at this. And if they're not available, then I'll give them a list of other people.
yeah.
And
But
I
yeah,
just usually charge a nominal fee to just refer people.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Otherwise I wouldn't have a business, but I just usually try to connect people as best as I can so that at the right price. And it's just been a really great 40 years of contracting. So
yeah,
I've been doing this for a long time. And I started out, for people who are just getting started, I got called for a couple of gigs early on when I was like 17 years old. And one contractor was making phone calls because back in the day, you didn't have email.
yeah,
Dating myself, but hey, it's reality, right?
yeah,
So this is about finding workarounds. Okay, so whatever the reality is for people 10 years from now, that's going to be your reality, and you'll have to deal with the workaround. So,
yeah,
but in the background, this person had a screaming baby on the phone, and she was trying to contract, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'll never do that because to me, I was on the receiving end and I thought, that doesn't, you have to be a professional and not have a good environment. So I would wait, I would go outside, and try to make calls in a concise way. And then I would see when people would email me for something for a job or not email or send me a letter or something with what they needed and it was very wordy. I try to do things in as little words as possible. So I'll do an original email and I'll take about half of it out and
yeah,
I'll try to send it because people don't read anymore.
yeah,
So there's ways that you can do that. And also, I offered at the time when I got called for the job, I said, I could tell that this woman was very frustrated. She had her hands full. So I said, would you like me to contract this for you? I have several of my musician friends that would be available. And she said, oh my gosh, that would help me out so much. Yes. And I said, okay, I'll just charge an extra blah, 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 to help out. Would that be okay with you? Oh, absolutely. So then my name got out there. And then when those people needed a sub, who did they think of? Then they call me to try to help, help me out too. So the help goes around.
yeah,
Uh, and it's just a pay it forward kind of thing.
yeah.
So,
Wow, you did that. So you've been doing this since you were 17, like even just
yep,
the gate.
yep. Yeah, more than that. I won't say much more than that. But yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. So I have a lot of, tricks to the trade and I'm always still learning too, but I learn from other people and I enjoy meeting new people. I'm not afraid to meet new people. Not afraid to listen to everybody's their projects, how different they are. None of that bothers me. I enjoy that. That's, bring it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so, and that's so great. And it's just, it's so much in the spirit of, of what we want to try to inspire here, just
Yeah,
people to feel like the potential, of what's possible. And
yeah,
so much of the industry can be very like, top down, and it's so hard. You've got the weight,
right,
and
right,
it's like, and I think that we need to change that to keep the energy flow, to keep the blood circulating
right.
through the industry. You can't,
Yeah,
nobody can be getting cut off, or, we have to keep
right,
it
right.
moving.
Yeah.
Well, there's always going to be somebody, you know, better than we are. There's always going to be somebody who has more money than we do. And so I don't let that bother me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't let it bother me. I mean, you know,
And being able to like get, instrumentation for, the just the whole spectrum of projects. So the
yeah.
great shows that you do. I mean, Andrew has been a lute playing robot on Westworld
Oh
before.
yeah. Right. Yeah.
I've done
What have
that.
you done? Yeah.
I've played guitar in like a wedding band in a dog food commercial.
Oh yes, Milkbone.
Um,
You
I
can
love
see
that
those photos on the website, by the way, in case anyone's interested.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and like cello in a bunch of orchestra stuff for like ads and stuff,
And the
and
show,
Yeah, Los Temerarios or something. It was a music video you did. Wasn't that in the LA River, the LA riverbed?
yeah,
I mean, in the dry section. Don't get me wrong. There was like water flowing. Not on my watch.
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, and then the other large scale concerts at Peacock Theater and Microsoft with 120 piece orchestra that I contracted with no conductor, no click track. Um, but luckily, the artist had hired me to put together a recording session for all the tracks, so I got a recording session out of it, and they use that, and everybody plays to that, and then the drummer, of course, is incredible. So we just get a count off, and we all stay together with the beat, and it was incredible.
Because
The sound alone.
I mean, and that show was magnificent. Uh, but I'm just thinking, you live on both sides as well. You're a
Yeah,
violinist as well.
right.
You have the experience of being part of these gigs,
Yeah,
and that I think gives you an extra advantage as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate that, and this artist that I was just talking about apparently went through several contractors, and I had been hired to play in the section many years ago for the same person. And he had gone through several contractors who told him um, that he could go elsewhere, in other words. And because they didn't like how they um, were negotiating with him.
mm,
And I came in and I put my foot down and said, no, 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 we're not going to go below, a certain rate. And he had worked with several people at a very cut rate. And so I have been able to, every time I work, to edge it up just, you know, a
yeah,
little more. And so that's one thing that I didn't just say no. I said yes, and
yeah,
which is an acting, trick, an
yeah,
acting resource where you never say no. You
yeah,
always say yes and.
yeah.
yeah.
That's nice.
So yes, we'll do the job, and we need this.
Yeah,
So, but anyway, I am just so excited to be invited to participate in what this wonderful project that you have. And I am beyond thrilled to be a resource that's valuable and here in LA, local, um, and willing to work with anybody who shoots me an email. So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you're going to do contact information, but I'm happy to give that out if in case people
Yeah,
want it.
we've definitely
It'll be below.
it'll be it'll be below. Yeah. I mean, Jennifer, you're just amazing, and I think what you do for the community is just incredible, and
Thank you.
us as well. And
Yeah.
over the years, it's just been fantastic. You service everyone across the board. Uh,
Thank you so much. Yeah, even during COVID, I was so depressed. Everyone was depressed, but I was so depressed because as a contractor, I'm so used to providing for so many people.
Yeah.
And the feeling of not working, but also not being able to provide work for people who are a lot of people are counting on me to throw them something, you know?
Yeah.
And so I created LA Curbside Entertainment during that time. I lost so much money because I took the $600 stimulus check, you remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I bought my pop-up canopy that said LA Curbside Entertainment on it. And I thought I could pay a few bills, but why do that? That's boring. And so I bought this thing. And so we started doing curbside concerts, literally on people's front lawn, on the cul-de-sac or their driveway. And we would have like up to 25 people playing like orchestra concerts, sitting far away. And so I was busy, trying to generate that. And we were playing for donations because, I mean, sometimes people would pay us up front to do a concert, but most of the time it was kind of pass the hat kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I would tell people, I can only pay you gas money to come out. I'm not making money on this at all. And they said, we're in.
Yeah.
And what? And so then I would give them a list of, okay, here's our upcoming concerts.
Yeah.
And they were all like in, on grass lawn areas and things. And they would always say, yes, count me in. I'm good for all of those dates. And several people told me that those were the only gigs they had for like a year and a half.
I bet.
And so they had gas money and sometimes a little more. But it was for their psyche,
Yeah.
and going through the motions of, okay, my gear, my instrument, my stand,
Yeah.
just going through the motions of, okay, I'm going to you have something in your date book. I'm going to be at this time, location, and I'm going at some place, something to do, something to play, and have the social aspect too. So it
Yeah.
was very meaningful. It kept a bunch of us afloat, just mentally, emotionally. So, because you can't just shut off the creative valve.
And then the depression is real,
Right,
and
right.
doing
And we
something.
made a lot of people happy. People were crying in the audience, just crying, and we were too. But I'm glad that all of that's over. However, people, due to popular demand, they really wanted me to keep going. So I'm still doing like, restaurant jobs and happy hour for people for their own private guest list, maybe on their front lawn or wherever they want to, by their pool or whatnot. So that's really fun.
So great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you do just comes from the right place, which is just, it's
Thank you.
in integrity and care and just
Thank you.
um
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that so much. And
yeah.
you both are just a pleasure to work with. You're sweetest people. And the fact that you're doing this and generating it for so many, I hope you have a lot of people collaborating with you and um, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
Thanks, Sam.
much. I mean, everyone, please check out instrumental casting.
Yeah.
Jennifer Walton's work is just really amazing. And we'll link you, online as well. So
Okay.
check out the socials, check out the website, check out everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.